All right, cool. So let's see if you guys want to open up like SPY, so you guys are all in the same ticker here, so you guys can see what I'm seeing. The SPY 1 day. Let's go over with the settings for just HPC combo. I'll just quickly open it. I'll just show you guys what I have. I normally don't switch anything. I think the bars to process default settings is like 300 or something, or 500. So what this does is allows you to go as far as 1500. I think max is 1500. Yeah, 1500 bars, where it'll generate patterns from past. So it's good like to have that set to 1500 if you want to look at patterns that happened in the past. So as you can see here, it generated this pattern and it went as far as like, I think that's about it. That's around 1500. Oh no, over here as well. So it's good to have these levels, especially because in harmonics it follows a strict 886 ratio, 0.886. So like essentially, if you look at this pattern here, um, you kind of like guess like, hey, the SPY hit 241 or 886, but this pattern is a little bit, you know, um, too far out. So we probably take out, use a different pattern here where we could possibly test like a low of SPY hitting, and that would be at 318. Some people have it at 320. It's just a fib ratio that harmonic patterns follow. So it's good to have those settings set up to see past patterns. There's actually one here. So 318 is probably, I don't know that it will go that low, the SPY, but possibly 886 at 371, which essentially is a target that, let's put this on here. You guys can see.
Could I ask you to remove that watermark of the spy?
Sure.
Just to make it easier for people to see it.
Appearance. There's a watermark right here.
Sweet, thanks.
So yeah, if you have this ratio here at the 886 from this previous ABCD pattern, that's at 371, which is coincidentally also the like almost the gap fill that we have here. So you could also test that maybe at the low. If you actually take this pattern here, let's see what this 886 is. So the 886 here is at 367. Okay, so it's just set those settings if you want to look at previous patterns. So I'm not going to go too much into detail. Just know that the 886 is a very key level to watch out for. So let me open the settings again. So you kind of want to set all these checked, right? Show pending patterns. It's patterns that are about to generate, that are possibly generating. If you want to set that up, you can. I just think it's too much clutter. But if you don't have any experience yet with like drawing harmonic patterns manually, you probably want to set that up so you can see um, what a potential pattern is, when a potential pattern is forming. And I'll get over to like how to spot that, like how to spot that like without any indicator. It's pretty easy, but we'll go over that in just a bit. So if you want to set that, it's up to you. Minimum pattern length 30 to 300, just regular default settings. You could hide inside patterns, which it shows like between the inside pattern there's another pattern. You don't want to have that. It's too much clutter. Minimize pattern overlap, mute overlapping patterns, so that way there's not too much clutter. I just have this set up the same way. The default basically, I don't really touch it. You want to turn on show leg labels, so where you can see that like X, A, B, C, D. Show ratio, it'll show these. Show zone labels, which will be these ratios right here. And if you want to, hide the old zone lines, I don't know if you guys can see them on screen here, but you can see these lines here. If I turn that off, I think it'll come up. Or I have it not too bright. Hold on a second here.
I wasn't the only one that was tripping on that.
What happened?
Oh, my shit just went blank for a second.
All right. So Yeah, just normal settings here. I don't really use. You could have this set up with an alert pending patterns, but I don't really. I just leave that alone. So that's essentially what I use. Basically, all the default settings just turned on. I know I think it has show ABCD pattern off. The ABCD pattern is a hard harmonic pattern to trade. So um, we'll go over that a little bit later. But if you want to set that up, you can. So just click on the show ABCD pattern because it is considered a harmonic pattern. So once we have those settings, if everybody's cool with those settings, we'll go to like I'll talk about um, the HPC HSI indicator.
You use 1500, you said, bars to process, or 400, the normal one?
1500 bars to process. Um, that way you could look up, other patterns in the past.
Sweet.
Okay, so let's talk about the HSI here. So this is the HSI. Settings here wise. Let me see. Default settings basically. That's just the way I have it. Nothing too much here. 13 period, HSI period. So I'm going to explain over what the HSI indicator does.
Are there two HSI indicators available? I see.
There is the HSI, which is this one, and then there's a HSI arrows, and then there's HSI or AMP RSI, but it's the HPC HSI, this one right here. So the HSI is essentially like the RSI. It's harmonic strength index. It's designed to act as an early validation measure when harmonic patterns exist. So the indicator helps to see harmonic price behavior and those ranges between 0 to 100. The overbought and oversold areas are the 886 and the 11.13. So the ranges of 0 to 100 along with price levels of 11.3 and 88.6 help define like extreme conditions, and these measures reflect like the harmonic limits of the indicator. So oversold is at 11.3, which would be right around here. 11.3, somewhere around here. So this is defined, hey, this is oversold in the harmonic pattern, right? And the overbought is at the 886, which is somewhere around here. This is saying, hey, in the harmonic pattern, this is overbought. So once this crosses over the red or the green, you should trigger an HSI arrow. So I'll go over what the HSI arrow settings are. So the HSI arrows also comes with this thing called the pi phi bands or phi bands, whatever you want to call it, and I'll turn that on real quick. You could think of it as Bollinger Bands, right? Where you got your upper band and you got your lower band. So the HSI arrow is also helps to define like where the HSI, like when it hits the red right here at the 886, it will trigger an HSI arrow that's saying, hey, it's overbought. So this red arrow is indicating, hey, overbought over here at the 886. And it's also touching here this 5 band here, the upper band. In conjunction, when you have those two together and the pattern is also forming, it's a good indicator telling you, hey, we probably reached here over hop and we're going to continue pushing down. So these 5 bands can help identify like the harmonic range where price is oscillating, meaning it can help to see where the price is trending into an extreme territory. A touch of the band doesn't mean like it doesn't indicate that exhaustion of price, but you can start to analyze, hey, maybe it's a possible good area to consider, hey, this is actually an area where price is coming like to an exhaustion level where, in this sense right here, where it touched here, it's like overbought. So you can probably start assuming, hey, there should be some relief here and probably going to continue pushing down. And as you can tell here, it did exactly that. So that's essentially it. I don't really use it because it's, again, too much clutter. I could just see when it's overbought from the HSI arrows, but if you guys want to like visually see, you could also use these as levels of support and resistances. So you got the upper band, lower band, and you got them. Let me remove the HSI or the EMAs here. And then you got this band right here. These are like the mid ones between each other. So you can start also using these as, you know, support and resistances, but it's up to you if you guys want to have this turned on. I normally don't like it turned on, but for practice I think you guys should turn it on just to see where those levels are as well. Then the next indicator here is this amp RSI. The settings for here, I'd leave them as default, 13, and then just up to you want to change colors. So the amp RSI is an indicator that generally ranges between 0 to 100. So the overbought is 70 and oversold is below 30. So how does that play into the HPC indicator, the HSI arrow, the HSI indicator, and the amp RSI is when even if you take, I like to have RSI as well. When I see a pattern like this bat pattern here, and I see that the RSI, normal RSI, is already overbought, and then the amp RSI is overbought in the harmonic pattern right here, as well as the amp RSI overbought. When that happens, it's telling me, hey, it's more of an indication confirming that the price is going to go down because it's overbought in all these, right? So if I were to take the trade here when it generated that red arrow, you can see even all these three matched up, and I would take the bet to the downside that it would continue going down because it's an exhaustion in price and the harmonic pattern. So when that happens, I tend to take the trade. It's more confirmation that, you know, the trade is going to go down. Whereas over here, you could tell that it was oversold here. Amp RSI, HSI was oversold here. The same thing with amp RSI, but not RSI. It did trigger a buy signal here, and it did continue pushing up, but that's a little bit harder to like guess, right? Because this is the June lows, and we could have pushed down. So it's just when these three are almost matching together, I'm more inclined to take a trade to the position, to the trend, where the trend is going. So let's see another example here where we triggered. Let's see here. So right here, this is a perfect example. HSI was overbought, amp RSI as well, but not RSI, and it triggered a sell signal here, like to the downside. And look what happened. We went to the upside, right? So if you would have taken a bet to the downside, you probably would have been crushed here. So that's just something to look at. That doesn't mean you can't play to the downside as well, but look at RSI, look at HSI, and look at amp RSI. When you get these three almost matching together, it's a good indication that price is going to follow to wherever the either oversold or overbought.
You know what you can add, Lord, to help you out with that? This is for everybody too. I mean, you have MACD right there as well, right?
Right.
That's pretty much showing strength.
Exactly.
on that March 22nd, 23rd region. But you can also do that Wyckoff trend oscillator. So it allows you to know where you are a little bit in the schematic, and it's still showing green strength to the upside.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's why I also use MACD is a good indicator telling you where the trend is, right? So
yeah,
if it's green here, you know, like I always tell you guys, like, hey, don't fight the trend, and if you are, make sure you have your stop, you know, your risk management's there, because not to say you can't play it to the opposite side, just have a little bit more risk management, because you can't deny the trend, right? If you go against the trend, you're probably gonna get crushed. It's like I got crushed here. Well, we all did, I think, that Friday, the bloody Friday, this one. But yeah, that's essentially how you know, the settings for all the HPC indicators. There's another indicator that I don't really want to go over. It's you guys can go and do that. It's this watch list one. Get rid of this. Essentially what this does is, you know, you just input your favorite tickers.
That's what that was was for. I just kind of was like,
but I'll go over it so you guys know.
okay, okay.
Put X,
Oh,
whatever.
that's
Just
legit then.
so
That actually that's legit.
so you could save these, your favorite tickers. That way you don't go back and forth and looking at like each individual ticker to see if a pattern is forming. So turn on all these things. You show ABCD pattern if you want to as well. Um, Same settings. Just have that turned on. To make this a little bit bigger, you just go to text size, I think it is, to large, and it'll make the table a little bit bigger. So you can see here XSUM here, X, AMC, GME, whatever, and it's telling you here depending on what time frame you're in, it'll generate the pattern. So right here it's telling us, oh, XSUM on the 1 day there's a deep crab, 69 bars. The hop is at 107, target 1 and target 2. So if I switch it to like the 1 hour, it should generate different patterns probably. Yeah, you can see there's it's green here, bullish patterns. So this is pretty cool if you don't want to keep going back and forth. It'll just tell you, hey, deep crab here. You could have that set up on a different window, so that way, because I know that this takes a lot of room. This doesn't make sense to leave it on your main chart, but set it up in another
Do you
window.
use that, Lord?
Not really. I have a couple of screens that I have, so it's like I have some of the tickers. When I look at, I'm just looking at, when I see price momentum, I probably start looking at the ticker. Especially, I always look at volume. When I get into scalping, I'm looking at volume, right?
Fair.
So yeah, that's essentially what that indicator does. So what do I want to talk about next? So if anybody has any questions about the settings on the HPC combo, RSI, AMP RSI, SI, let me know.
When you're using those, Lord, when do you add in the volume profile to confirm or disconfirm your thesis?
So, okay, so right here where volume is picking up, do you see volume picked up here, right? And volume is still picking up. And we're getting an overbought here. We're still, AMP RSI is still not like overbought. And I guess even RSI is not overbought as well, right? So there can be continuation to the downside. And I'm looking at volume as well. If you see start volume picking up, then obviously it's more confirmation of you taking that trade to the downside. So in conjunction with all these, I do look at volume as well, and especially on the micro, especially if you're scalping. So yeah, volume is a key important thing to look at, right?
I guess final question with that, volume relative to those other indicators, which one's more important to you? Like if they're all flashing the same pattern, but you see a divergence completely with the volume, or are you going to put more weight on the volume or more weight on those other indicators?
I'll probably put more, depending on what I'm trading, like if on the macro, if I'm following the harmonic pattern, I'm probably going to give it more time. I'm not really looking at volume. I'm looking to see where the price momentum is and what it's doing, right?
Okay.
But yeah, it all depends, man, really.
Fair.
Lord, just from a setup, I think it's on the HPC combo. They have the dotted lines, the hop, XA, T1, T2. I have those, but I have additional dotted white lines. You know where those are coming from?
Okay, so do you TradingView? We've had this discussion this week where if you don't have the paid, like the data, New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, whatever, you're probably gonna have different targets and hops. And if you could send me the screenshot and I'll look at it, see what you're seeing, because I can kind of help you.
It's probably the past tense patterns, because I've had that too, where they kind of run into each other. Old pattern, new pattern generated, I think. That's why I was asking you from left to right.
Okay. Yeah, just send me the screenshot and let me see so that way I can see what you're talking about. Just
I
put
don't
it up.
want to interrupt class, but I just saw it and I put it in live trading.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me look. Okay, so yeah, you're having an overlap, right, of targets.
Yeah.
So it's up to you if you want to have that off, but I think it's if you I think it's, what do I have off?
If feels like too much. I don't
Mute
wanna see
overlap
how many-
patterns. Do you have that on or off?
I'll check that out.
If you click that, I think it should go away.
Got it. That fixed it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, they fucked him up.
So hodling. If all four match asked if all four match up, is it really a good trade? Well, it's not that it's going to be a really good trade. It's just if you are, confirming that you want to take a trade to, like, let's say all the indicators were saying, hey, overbought, right? It's probably going to trigger an HSIO to the bottom, to the downside, and you're probably going to think, hey, I'm going to take a trade to the downside. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? It can go the other way, but if you know you want confirmation on your thesis and your trade, then it's probably a good indication that, hey, if all these are matching up, then it's probably a good idea to trade it, right? But like again, it can go the other way as well. But it's just, it's just more confirmation that if you want to take it to the downside on that trade, then you'll probably take it and see what happens. It's just if something was off, right? Like if we had like, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess 5 indicators, they all were flashing the same thing, then I'm more inclined to take a trade. If like 3 out of 5, then I have a problem there, right? And if I'm going to take it, then I have risk management and all that stuff. Let's see. So if anybody has any more questions on the settings, or if you guys are having problems, like, let me know so that way I can go help you guys, and we can go over the next topic about like what is harmonic trading.
I'm good so far.
You guys all have the same pattern here on the 1 day, the bat pattern with the same hop. Okay, because I don't know licenses here, but license was having a different pattern on the 1 day. So
It might have been because of his he might not be paying for that data, the updated
yeah.
data. Yeah.
So yeah, that is.
I do have one question, Lord.
Sure.
Sorry. Mine isn't auto-generating the hop XA T1 T2. Is that something you're putting on there yourself, or is that supposed to generate?
No, that's supposed to generate. You're on the 1 day.
Oh, yeah, I'm on the 1 day, and I had the bat pattern.
Okay, so you probably have the settings turned off where, let's see, where underneath like fill patterns, you should have show leg labels, show ratio labels, and show zone lines. I don't know if you have those off, but turn them on.
Let me see.
It could also be too dark too, because like when I first
Yeah.
got the indicator, they were impossible to see. I had to change the color.
Oh my!
Brighten
Thank
them
you
up,
for saying
brighten them
that.
up.
Where do you
Yeah.
brighten those up at? Because I can see they're so
So-
transparent.
Color.
The ratio line color, you click on it, and then at the bottom you should see the opacity, and then you just increase that. But yeah, they are like very like mute kind of. You have to set those settings up and change the color and everything. So the same thing with the label, the zone line, stuff like that. See this muted pattern color? I don't know if you guys could probably see here. These are the ratios. I don't really want those turned on because again it's too much clutter. But yeah, once you have that, let me know if that fixed it.
Looks good.
But yeah, as Rico was saying, that paying for that live data is very important. It really fucked up things. Like it changed a lot of things. My EMAs were wrong, and I'm like, okay, well that's kind of a big deal, right?
Is that in addition to the premium payment?
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's only like $4, I think, right?
Yeah, $4.
Live data.
I think I paid an extra $2 for something. I don't even know. I'm gonna buy it just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same. It was 6. There was the NSE, ARCA, and one other.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Were you guys able to buy that for the year, or did you have to pay monthly?
I think about it monthly.
Yeah, monthly.
Monthly, I didn't see an option yearly.
There's
Okay, so-
yearly for like the Canadian markets, but not for like the American markets, which is dumb.
Okay, I didn't see it either. Thanks.
All right, so guess any more questions on the settings? If you guys something's not coming up, let me know.
There is a yearly. It's $24 for the year.
Chill.
Okay, sweet. Thanks.
All right. I guess no more questions. We're gonna go to the next topic of like what is harmonic trading, right? I'm pretty sure most of you guys know what it is. But for those of you who don't, it's essentially a strategy that recognizes like harmonic ratio measurements in relation to that quantify price movements as harmonic patterns. So I'm pretty sure most of you guys know about the Fibonacci sequence number, right? The 0 plus 1, 1 plus, and so on and so forth, and you get this big ass number, right? So that Fibonacci sequence of numbers is a phenomenon that's out there in like space, out in nature, right? So those fib ratios are used in harmonic trading to it's basically using the financial markets so you could trade that those numbers, right? These patterns calculate proportional ratio aspects of each price structure to look for reversals in the harmonic pattern. So certain patterns follow different fib ratios that make up that pattern. So essentially, for example, this bat pattern here is a 5-point structure, and it typically looks like, if you guys want to participate, what does this look like without having the numbers here and the labels here? What does this look like? I'm looking for a pattern name.
Deep
Double
crab.
bottom.
There we go, Rico. Yeah, the bottom, right? So I was talking earlier about, yeah, I was talking about earlier is like, how do you even see that without the indicator, right? So the first thing, if you want to look at like if a pattern is forming, you look for a W or an M, the double top, right? Once you start looking at that 5-point structure, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I think that was it. No, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and then reversal to the upside. So you look at a W or a double top, and then you take your tool, your XABC tool, and you start plotting, right? This isn't it. This one. You start plotting. Your X has to be the highest point. Your A has to be the lowest point. So in a bearish harmonic, an X retracement from X being the high point and A being the low point, you could assume that pattern is going to form a bearish harmonic pattern, right? Your B has to be the second highest point. This one right here. All right. Yeah. So in a harmonic pattern, in a bearish pattern, your C cannot be below A. If that happens, if it goes like this, that's not a valid pattern, right? In a bearish bat pattern, the A to C has to be at a strict 886 or 382. The XB has to be at a 0.382 or 0.5, and B to D has to be between either the 1.618 or the 2.618, and X to D has to be at the 886. So once you start looking at that, you start looking at those patterns, fib ratio, see if they match up, and that just comes with practice, right? Looking at, let me give you guys a link here so you guys can find those patterns as well. Where is it? So you guys can see.
You drew that, but will the HPC combo automatically
Yeah,
go for it?
yeah, of course. That's just something like if you want to potentially see like in the chart where if maybe a pattern is forming, you can kind of just start looking at those M and W's, right? Those double top and double bottoms. I'm pretty sure if you guys have seen me, sometimes I'll be drawing it in streaming and like drawing a pattern. I think I wanted a perfect example. I took an Apple trade. I think the one Rico also got in. I was looking at the micro, and I started drawing. There was a double top, and a double top means at the completion of point D, the reversal is going to go to the upside, and that's why I took the trade. The HPC indicator did not generate that, because the HPC indicator will generate patterns that are almost like precise. Mine was a little bit off. Mine was a little bit risky, but I was looking at other stuff, right? I was looking at volume, momentum, and Apple there was some movement, there was some momentum there, right? There was volume going up, and that's why we were able to profit almost like 40-50% off that trade. So essentially, it's kind of like that comes with practice, right? You're not gonna. I don't suggest people who don't know harmonics start doing that, because you also have to know your fib ratios. Some of the fib ratios were off, so it was a little bit risky on my end, but you have to take other things into consideration. I'm gonna link this over in live trading. I'll link it over on Twitch too. So if you guys go to harmonictrader.com, you could find the patterns and their fib ratios. There's some typos and errors on harmonictrader.com with the patterns. There's switched where the bearish is actually a bullish and the bullish is actually a bearish pattern. That's just a typo. So in order for you guys to not make that mistake and assume that a bearish pattern is actually a bullish, go here, right? All the fib ratios here are perfect. The bat pattern, the butterfly, the Gartley, it's under patterns. I'm not actually being able to share my screen because I'm only on TradingView right now, but you guys can see those patterns, right?
Yeah. On that link you sent?
Yeah, on the link.
Yeah.
So yeah, follow those fib ratios. Get used to those fib ratios. So let me go back to the SPY here. So going back to what a harmonic pattern is, it's a 5-point structure, right? And it typically looks like an M, double top, or in this case, a double bottom, a W. They possess the harmonic patterns possess three primary measurements that usually define what is called the PRZ zone. The PRZ zone used to be this hop. Scott Carney actually changed this to be hop now because it's a harmonic. Hop is harmonic optimal price, meaning you know that the bat pattern, if you know the fib ratios, if you're looking at the fib ratios, it extends to the 2.618, and you could tell here that it's only at 2.0. So this is telling you, hey, this could still extend here to the 2.618. Obviously, D cannot be above X, otherwise this pattern would invalidate. So it essentially is telling you can go more like this way. So hop would be your hop. It also was called your stop loss, where if it goes above this, then you probably get out of the trade. And then the XA, some not all patterns will generate XAs, and some will generate OBs and B to C. That's different. That depends on what the pattern is at, like the fib ratios. But the XA is telling you that at the price of 411, the XA retracement from X to A is at the 886. And if you get an OB, the same thing. So anytime you see the X to D, the fib ratios, whether it be a bat pattern or a Gartley is a 7.86. Let's say it's assumed that this was a Gartley at the 786. The XA would be saying, hey, the price at 411 is at the 786 from X to D. So just know that the 886 is a key level in harmonics. But in a pattern, each pattern has an ABCD pattern, which is very important. This pattern is also tradable. I was also forming here what I was thinking is going to happen on the SPY, right? So an ABCD pattern, let me quickly put this on TradingView so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
So it can come back and retrace to the XA and then can go to the second level then, right? So it goes to tier 1 and then back traces and then tier 2.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so I'm going to talk about the reactions because there's two reactions on harmonic. When when the completion of point D finishes, there's some things we're going to look at, but I would quickly want to talk over the ABCD pattern because I think it's very important. Why can't I paste this shit?
Try dragging it in. Is it an image?
Yeah.
Yeah, just try dragging it into TradingView.
Okay, that worked. You guys can see this, right?
Trying to see if it catches up. Yep.
The ABCD pattern. Okay, cool. So in every harmonic pattern, there's an ABCD pattern, right? This is also tradable, and you can see here at the ABCD is saying price reversal to the downside, right? And I did talk about earlier, when you see an X to A retracement, that's essentially going to be a bearish bat pattern, right? When you see, let's see if I can find one here. So when you see an X retracement from X to A, that's going to be a bearish pattern. When you see an X to A extension, that's going to be a bullish pattern. And you could tell here, you're probably thinking, hey, if A is going to B, and that's an extension, that should be a bullish case, right? But at point D, it's going to the downside because you're also missing a leg here, right? The retracement from X to A. And that would be a double bottom reversal to the downside. The same thing could be said for the other bearish pattern right here. There's bearish ABC pattern, sorry, right here. Double top, reversal to the upside, right? So the ABCD patterns follows a strict fib ratio, which has to be almost equidistant to each other. So what that means is that A to B has to be the same length as C to D for the ABCD pattern, right? Now you're looking at probably at this bat pattern here and saying like, hey, why is the ABCD not equidistant to each other? A to B is much shorter than C to D, right? So that's exactly what makes up this pattern a bat pattern. It's that X to A retracement. This doesn't have to be equidistant to each other because that's what the bat pattern follows in these strict fib ratios. But if you were to take the ABCD pattern and trade it, you have to make sure that the A to B has to be the same equidistant to each other. And for example here, that's where I think maybe SPY might go. I took A to B here, same equidistant to each other, and the price target would be here around like 370, which is almost at that gap, well past that gap fill. And we would assume here retrace a reversal zone back up to target 1 being at 393 and 618 being at 408. So you could trade this pattern. It's just a little bit more tricky to trade. You could also start assuming that, hey, maybe this is probably a Gartley or a bat pattern, right? But if I take this, let's take actually the tool here, the XABCD, and see what that does, what fib ratio gives us.
You're gonna hope you bounce off 370 or
Oh,
my
yeah.
god.
Exactly.
Oh man.
So you see why I don't follow this as a pattern right here? Because at D here, there's no fib ratio between X to D. That's 1.0. There is a shark, but this is not a shark, right? So that's why I don't think this would be a bat pattern or a butterfly or a Gartley. In order for it to be like a bat pattern, it would have to be the 886, which would be something like this, right? We're not getting that. Well, we could if price starts going this way, right? But this makes more sense to me, this ABCD pattern, because we are getting that pattern right now. Just needs to go lower and then we reverse. But we'll see if that happens, right?
Couldn't you take your A from the top of where it says 0.553?
To do what?
You see where your A starts?
Yeah.
At the very top where the red arrow is?
Uh-huh.
Couldn't you take A from where the top of that green arrow is? So the A to B will be equidistant to C to D, and see if that matches up.
Well, this is I already took this, right? So I took A to B. I dragged it over here. So this matches. This is why I'm assuming this would come down here because it's the same equidistant from A to B.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll,
I'm saying, like, could your A not start lower?
Yeah, so like,
Oh,
can
it
A
could.
like, start in the middle of the retracement?
It could start lower. You could talking about something like this.
There's a
Or
little
right here?
lag, so I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah, it's about 10 seconds, so it'll catch up in a second. Yeah, that's what he thinks
Yeah, yeah.
right on.
Okay, so you
And then
cannot start.
See, go for it.
You cannot start like A below on the bottom wick. It has to be on the top wick. It cannot be on the bottom, right?
Isn't there a top wick right
Well, there is.
to the
Yeah,
right?
there is. But you're getting a retracement that's higher, right? This point here, before the red arrow, is the highest point. You have to take in harmonic the high point to the low point of B. You cannot take it like this is much lower. There's another candle before that that's higher. So you have to take it from the high point to a low point, right?
So your new high point couldn't be on that green candle that's showing the up indicator, right?
No,
Because
because
technically there was a break, a retracement. I see what you're saying, though. I understand.
yeah. So you could tell here, look at this X here, this bat pattern. Why couldn't it be this one? Because there's a point that's higher, right? We need so in harmonics, we're looking for that retracement or that extension, that sharp, like when there's like this retracement from X to A, there was a sharp decline, right? And then you get your A to B, where there's some like type of, it's saying, hey, maybe there's some be some consolidation. There's some, we're finding a trading range here. And then B to C would also, it's be the same thing. Like, hey, there's some consolidation here. There's maybe some, levels and support and resistance that we're probably going to find chop at. And then you want to get that extension from C to D, where these patterns, these targets start forming, like target 1 and target 2. It's going to tell you, hey, because since we dropped here without any consolidation, and we're probably going to get some chop here, and that's why you get your target 1, because there is a trading range here where there's support as well as over here. Not so much over here because it kind of just went sharp all the way down. That's the same thing, that retracement or that extension back up from C to D, without any type of consolidation, right? That's why these targets form at the target 1 would be the 0.382, target 2 would be the 618. You could also, maybe do target 3 at the 0.886, but at that point in the harmonic pattern, it's already like over sold, right?
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I hope that made sense.
Yeah.
So Lord, the HPC automatically draws the XABCD pattern in red, but you always have to draw the ABCD also?
No, you don't have to draw it. You don't have to draw it. So I don't know if you're asking like if like there's no reason for you to draw ABCD, right? The reason why I drew that is just because of what I'm seeing, right? I'm looking at this. This to me before I was considering this was going to be another probably another bat pattern, but I drew this pattern here like this. I believe it was last week or Friday, Thursday. What was this day? The 15th. So on Thursday, I wanted this to happen, right? Because this would give us back up and break this trend line at 425. Because C has to be above A, this pattern would be almost validated. But because this came down to C below A, that pattern, like, there's no potential pattern forming anymore. This gets invalidated because C cannot be below A, and I took the ABCD pattern because that's what I was looking at, and it made more sense because it's the same equidistant to each other. This pattern, right? That doesn't mean this is going to play out either. That doesn't. This is the pattern I'm looking at that I can see right now that there's potential for possibly forming. So just this, after the ABCD pattern, once you guys practice ABCD pattern, you can kind of like start like looking at what makes a bat pattern, shark pattern, a shark pattern, on and so forth. The deep crab, the butterfly. Um, Obviously, with the fib ratios, they follow certain fib ratios that make up that pattern. But this is a key important, the ABCD, because it's in every pattern. Let's see here. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the type 1 and a type 2 reaction. So when a pattern gets completed at point D, and we're looking at this example on the SPY here one day, the bearish bat pattern. At point D, this was generated, this bat pattern, right? You get two types, one of two types of reactions when the pattern finishes at point D. Type 1 reaction would be essentially at point D here. It just goes straight down and goes to target 1, target 2. That's your type 1 reaction. This is the scalper's dream, right? If you get that, it's like, okay, at target 2 is probably going to bounce off, and it's in the harmonic pattern, in the harmonic sense, it's already oversold. Type 2 reaction is where you don't get that type 1 reaction where it goes straight down. Instead, you get this, something like that. You find a trading range here, you're testing hop, you're testing XA, and then eventually you start going back to target 1, testing back to XA again, and then target 2, right? That's the type 2 reaction that sometimes plays out.
So it doesn't have to go to hop. It can actually just jump
No, it
to
doesn't.
XA
Yeah.
and move. Hop is just the last chance for that pattern to play out there.
Right, exactly. So this is telling you, hey, after this, if it goes on, this pattern is probably invalidated, because remember, D cannot be past X. So this would be kind of your like last level to look at. Hey, just be careful here, because if it continues pushing up, this pattern is probably invalid. But it didn't, and it continued. Now we are at the type 2 reaction right now. This is a type 2 reaction. It never was a type 1. I guess you can consider here type 1, but it didn't go to target 2. So it's a type 2 reaction. And I do think we are, did we test 381.74? No, we went to 382.11. So we still haven't touched target 2. And I do think we're going to touch it, because we're in
I
that.
have one thing to help you for anyone that's wondering about that push up. If you're taking from your C to hop, right? If you're looking at just the volume profile, you can draw a diagonal line pretty much straight down. Actually, it should be from like that 707. You can see that demand volume's continuously going down while the price is increasing. So you have a divergence there.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you're at hop with decreasing demand volume, and you're at a resistance point. If that volume doesn't pick up, sellers will take control and just absolutely crush it.
Yeah. So during this time right here, a lot of people were bearish. Still, even when price was like going up here, they were assuming it was going to go down. And during this time here, this whole trading range here, like all through that, I was bullish. Why was I bullish? Because of the trend. Yes, the volume was kind of like iffy at some points, right? Volume was decreasing while it was going up. Like, but in each trap of this was a bear trap. It was like 5-6 bear traps that happened right here, again right here, again right here, and then the final push. So why was I taking this trades to the upside? Because of price action, right? Right here was obviously an increase in volume. When it started to get iffy was around right here. This should have been an indicator like, hey, price is increasing as volume is decreasing, right? Or sorry, volume is increasing as price goes down, right? These 2 days here that we got, when I actually thought we were going to push up, I think this was what day was this? Was this PCE? I think so. I got trapped here because volume told me everything right here, and I didn't pay attention to it. This wasn't harmonic buying right here. It's very low volume, and it continued to push up, and we got crushed here. So that's why you have to look at volume as well. Um, but yeah, you look at volume. Don't go against the trend or you get caught. I got caught. I lost a lot of money this day right here. I think a lot of us lost a lot of money there. But you look at volume in conjunction with all your indicators, Wyckoff and everything, and don't go against it. Um, right here is what's a little bit concerning, right? Volume is picking up. Volume is picking up here. It's going to be interesting to see what tomorrow opens at. Um, Futures is not open yet. Okay. But yeah, so look at volume, look at MACD if you guys use MACD, RSI, HSI. That's what I want to see here. Why I think is going to continuation in this harmonic pattern, because I'm looking at the HSI here. Usually this midline of the HSI, when it crosses over, it tends to continue going down. So we just got that crossover in the 1 day. So it's looking like it wants to approach this this level here, that 11.3, where it's going to say, hey, this is oversold in the harmonic pattern. And I think when it does that, it's going to test that, it's going to go to that target too. AMP RSI is actually also coming down as well to touch that overbought or oversold, right? But RSI is telling us another thing. RSI is still continuing down to like, I don't know, 30 is at, 30 would probably bring us below 381, but you know, there's still some room there for it to go to the downside. And I
Say
would,
crossover. Which crossover were you referring to?
the midline
The
here at the
the
HSI.
midline. Okay, the
Yeah.
midline. I just wanted to make sure if it was which one I was looking at.
Yeah. So you could tell even from here, like the HSI here crossed the midline and we just straight down went to that overbought area where it triggered that HSI arrow, right? Look at over here when you crosses up here the midline, it goes straight up. It doesn't have to happen, right? Right here we got, you know, fake out right here, bear trap. But essentially when you get that crossover with volume, it probably tends to continue going down. So if you can see here, the volume last day, pretty increase in volume, right? So I do think we're gonna hit that target too. Maybe even that gap fill, or continue to the 370s maybe. I would like it to do that because then that way it'll trigger an HSI arrow. We're possibly forming a bullish pattern, hopefully. But we'll see what next week brings. So I look at,
Decent push down and then end the day on like a hammer candle. Oh man,
yeah, it
that
is
made
it
me
is a little
lovely.
scary though. What,
It is, yeah.
like I don't want it to go down, but you have to look at what's in front of you. And I mean in the harmonic sense, I I'm g- I think we're going to go to target one. After that, it's see if I bring this here,
You ever use ADX?
ADX,
Yeah,
the indicator.
just directional momentum. If you put it on right now, you can see that negative price action is going up, and your ADX signal is also trending up, which could signal a continuation in the current trend.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with it. I know it like,
Yeah,
but
yeah, just the first one should be fine. Yeah. Um, sorry, I have ADX and DI,
ADX
directional
is,
index. Yeah. And I turn my signal line into white so it's easier to see. Your midline should be at 20. So if that signal line crosses over the midline and selling price or selling strength is continuing up, it's not going to be pretty.
yeah.
Yeah, you see your ADX and then your midline at 20. It's
Uh-huh.
starting to trend up while the sell. Yeah, it doesn't look great.
Oh shit, yeah. So in, like I said, target two, even target two, and the HSI is not, would not be oversold. I think oversold would be at the possibly 786, and in the extreme that 886 of this bearish bat pattern at 368.
Yeah.
So if this continues down to actually test that, we probably go lower than 381. 373, I think at 371 there's a gap fill, I believe.
I think I might enter some calls there. I have this other buddy that's looking for 371 bounce. If you break 371, this thing's going to 330. It's gonna go to like the 1618. It's gonna just die.
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. When you see it on like looking over historical history, 330 is very much potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
So
gap fill at 369 at that point.
Yeah.
yeah, 369. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
369. So that would be look at the coincidence again. The 886 of this fib ratio on this bat pattern here. It's at that gap fill.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. The 886 would be the most at this point. I would be if it goes down here at 886, I would be buying calls.
I would too because of chips seasonality with
Yeah.
midterms. They flip it. I would buy heavy calls there.
Yeah, so we
Reason out commons mainly on Friday.
Okay.
That is one heck of an abandoned baby we got though.
That is, yeah.
so we do have
Are we hoping it
FOMC.
hits that number before FOMC or after?
We have FOMC, and then the week after we have PCE. So
The big one, man.
I do
Oh my
think
God,
if
really?
if
They're
if
gonna do FOMC before PCE because that's usually what they base their numbers off of is PCE.
that's the September 30th is the day for
Oh.
PCE.
This could be
Calls.
ugly. This could be ugly.
So one theory is that hey, FOMC is gonna be like hawkish, right? So we continue hopefully continue that 380 below 381, and then PCE comes in like bullish, and that's when we start going back up with that seasonality Chips was talking about. But it makes sense.
That
It
would
would,
catch
definitely.
all of retail on the
Yeah.
bear side while you get a major impulse wave to the upside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like a $10 day on SPY.
Yeah. So
Wow. Are we? I guess my expectation though is if we see 100 BPS, like we might see up to 20% of the market just gone.
Probably.
Right.
100
Yeah, but
BPS.
yeah, you're not gonna see it. If they do deflation right now, everything's fucked.
Right. Yeah, fair.
like I think that's what, and Chips was also mentioning, like I think people are trying to, I think the news is saying, the media is not saying to keep selling, don't buy the dip, right?
Yeah.
So right now we're probably gonna get more people, more retail to become a little bit more bearish, and then they're gonna flip the switch.
War ends. I'm telling you.
During these panic sessions, it's nowhere. Like I'm not saying it's the bottom. When you look at the start of panic, it's normally a pretty good little drop. I'm just saying me personally, when I've bought in commons in the time of panic, they've normally turned out really good for me.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much the intro to harmonics, right? 5-point structure. Point D respect the reversal. They're type 1 or type 2. Give you an example of type 1. Let's see. Which one's a good example? This Apple, I think. Apple's a good example of the shark pattern on the 1 day. You're getting a type 1 reaction. Can it go to target 2? Possibly.
Now, isn't the shark pattern bearish?
Well, you get two sides. You get your bullish and your bearish. This, in this sense, is a bearish. This shark pattern is bearish.
I'm sorry. Can you look at SPY on the 2-day for me there? I'm just curious. I've been tracking SPY on the 2-day, and I'm wondering if anything pulls up. I haven't bought the indicators yet.
Chill. So yeah, okay. So then the 2-day, there's a shark pattern on the SPY, right?
Okay.
So at the completion of point C, because the shark pattern doesn't follow X A B C D, it follows an O X A B C. So at the completion of point C here, we didn't get the type 1 reaction. We got a type 2 reaction where we did test target 1 at 432, and now it's looking like we're probably going to continue going down here and test OB here at 371,
Perfect.
right?
Perfect.
So
Perfect. No.
we test that, and then hopefully we don't go to hop at 357, and we continue past pushing to the terminal here at 391, and then continue further upside.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
And they go to 470.
So how do you know which patterns to do
Yeah, good question, bro.
per se, like for when you're in the day, right? So this is days, but this could be 4 days, 5 days, a week.
Yeah, of course. Well, you're looking at the time frame, for example, the shark pattern in the 2-day, and you're looking at the 1 day, and you get a bearish. You're like, hey, which one is right? You're like, I don't know which one's right. Well, that's when you start looking at other stuff. You start looking at other indicators. You start looking at volume. You start looking what it's telling you. This is a shark pattern that's bullish, but are we bullish right now? Is the trend bullish? Hell no, it's not, right?
Yeah.
So I would probably start looking at the 1 day instead. That's not to say you can't look at this. You could still play this. You could still play a bullish pattern to the downside, and you got your levels here, your terminals, you got your OBs. Some people have asked me, like, hey, dude, why do you take a trade opposite of what the pattern is telling you? Because I'm looking at price action. I'm looking at what is the trend, and I could play against it. It doesn't mean because there's a bullish bat pattern here or bullish shark pattern here that I have to be bullish and say I'm gonna enter like target one. No, you could play to the downside. If you would have played like right here, even it's telling you an indicator, told you an HSI arrow right here at 430 or whatever this was, 429. You could assume like, hey, this is probably gonna go to like maybe terminal at 391. So you could play it both ways, right? You don't have to just play what the pattern is telling you. Play it both ways. I do it all the time.
Yeah, I think like ADX is a really good indicator to show you trend, momentum. You got that signal line crossing over. So a little bit more downside.
It is what it is. You just gotta play with the trend. You'll be fine.
Money, fame.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the XABCD and the OXABC? Like, that's confusing me.
So it's just the shark pattern just follows different fib ratios. The shark, the bullish shark pattern. Let me bring this. Give me 1 second. Go to the 2-day here. So in this shark pattern, this bullish shark pattern, the O to C follows a fib ratio of either the 0.886 to the 1.13. And from X to B here, it follows the 1.13 through the 1.618. And then from A to C, it follows either the 1.618 through the 2.24. So the shark pattern is different than the other patterns like the bat, the butterfly, where it's like, for example, the bat pattern follows an 886 or a 0.382. It's not between those two. It's either or, either the 0.382 or the 0.886. The shark pattern has a range between the 0.86 through the 1.13. Now, I don't really like trading these shark patterns because of that. It gives us that range where there's room for for a lot of shit to happen, meaning where the bat pattern follows strict fib ratios. There's no like in between, like, oh, you could trade it between this and that. No, it's either at the 0.886 or not, right? Where this is giving you a little bit more like wiggle room, which is kind of a little bit risky in my opinion, right? Because in this sense here, we got this sharp extension here from O to X. This is a big extension, and then you get from X to A, we find a trading range, and then we push back up, and then you get this B to D long retracement where it just goes straight down, and now it's trying to tell you, hey, where is that consolidation going to happen, or if we're going to reverse here. But the thing is that it gives you a range between the 0.886 through the 1.13, and I would have liked it to be either the 0.886 or the 1.13, not a range in between. I hope that made sense. I'm still alive, right? Did I lose you guys?
There you are.
Okay, cool.
So the HPC combo tool helps us up through D at that point, kind of on our own to determine if what
Yeah.
type of reaction is going to be, right?
Right. Yeah. That's where you would have to be like, hey, how do I know it's not gonna do the type 1 or the type 2 reaction, right? You have to like kind of wait, but you're waiting and you're looking at stuff, right? You're looking at intraday stuff. You're looking at volume. You're looking at other indicators. That's how you know. Like you have to be careful. Like when the pattern completes, and it's giving you, like in this 1 day, on the 1 day, it's giving you hop. It's giving you XA. It's telling you, hey, this could probably extend here, and we could find, some type of trading range here, or it's probably testing levels and resistances here, support and resistances, and we don't know what are we gonna get, right? So you have to, follow the trend here. If when this day here, let me replay it back to this day.
Yeah, I'm curious where you're typically entering a trade on a pattern like this. Once you see D, you're not entering immediately. You have to wait and
Right.
see
So
momentum.
do you see right here where it formed here at point D? Like, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to take, calls to 393 or 390? Yeah, 393 here, target one. That's a big push from 411, right? So obviously we're not going to take 393 in one day. We would probably look at maybe, supports around here. I think it was in the 406. I'd probably be like, oh, I'm going to probably buy puts at 406, right? But you can't deny this trend here that is bullish, right? This is a bullish trend here. We had a bull rally here, or a bear rally here, and I was playing it to the upside because look at these past volume days, increase in volume, buying pressure. So why am I gonna go against the trend? I took more to the upside because okay, this is probably gonna test hop first before we start going down, and that's exactly what played out. A lot of this is where also CPI was like bullish last month and all that, and that's what happened, and ended up going to hop. You got increase in volume here. It's bullish. So that's how you would consider like, hey, what do I as a type 1 or type 2? You're looking at the trend, what it's doing, and you can assume, hey, well, this was bullish. This is a bullish trend. I'm probably gonna take more calls to the upside and probably test that hop at 425, and that's what happened. And then after this, I did play it to the downside, except I got caught here. This is where I got caught.
In your experience, once you start seeing a trend, like it looks like it's going to go up to hop, does it typically play out that way, or you still don't ever know?
You still don't know, but for the most part, like I said, if the HSI is like telling you that it's overbought here in the harmonic pattern, like in the harmonic sense here, then I would be more inclined to start playing it to the downside. You got RSI was over here, was already like way overbought, right? So you could start assuming that this is going to continue going down, and now you're getting that type 2 reaction. Normally when it does this, if you don't get the type 1 reaction, you're probably going to get the type 2 reaction, right? And that's what we got, the type 2 reaction. I think really want to finish this pattern so we can get the fuck out of this pattern. It's annoying. Because I'm bullish, like I'm a bull, like 100%.
We're closer than we've been in a while.
Yeah, but I will quickly switch to whatever trend is. So right now it's bearish. I'm bearish. I don't give a fuck if about my bias or anybody's bias. I'm just gonna follow where the price action is. Yeah, so let's see. What else do I want to cover here?
What time frames are you generally using?
So I like to look, when I'm looking at trades, I like to look at the 1 day. And especially for harmonics, look at the 1 day. Look what the macro is telling you on the 1 day. And then if you're scalping, you can start looking at the 5, the 10, the 15. But I'm looking at where the 1 day specifically, with harmonics, I'm looking at the 1 day first, and then I'll start looking at other things. Because the 1 day tells you a lot more of where the trend is, where we're going, where we might be going, and then I base off my trades off of that, what the trend is at, and then if I want to scalp, then I start looking at the smaller time frames. But usually, I think the macro, the harmonics is best. Like it plays out a lot more often on the macro side of things. I like the 1 day, the weekly. Then let's say scalping. Scalping is a little like the smaller time frames is a little bit harder with harmonics. But you can play them. But for example, SPY, I always, when I get into a SPY trade, I'm looking at the macro. So
Get general direction right is 90% of a scalp. So if you have
Yeah,
an idea of which you want to go,
exactly.
uh,
So it plays out the XA, BC, D, and then the hop XA, T1, T2. I mean, those remain for how long until it plays out, and then does it disappear?
For the most part, yeah. When it starts, as this appears, if another pattern starts to form, right? So right here, like I said, the ABCD pattern is forming. So that uh, might invalidate this pattern. But you could still follow this pattern for like, support and resistances. This will still like, you have the settings set up where you could have, old patterns showing up. You could use that as, support and resistance as well to help you. Because, let's say if it forms an ABCD pattern, like I said, it's going to go to 371 or whatever. We could start using this pattern, this old pattern, where, oh, okay, well, there's support, there's resistance here at T2, there's resistance here. So you could use it as a reference point.
We look at some intraday charts where after a pattern completes, we look at where you would decide to take the trade or where you wouldn't.
Yeah, so intraday, like, so a lot
Like,
of, sorry, what was that?
like if we could look at like an old pattern that played out and like where your decision would be decision making would be at what price bar kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of having a hard time understanding what you're asking.
Just like a previous high where you would have taken like a short based off your indicators is what he's trying to say. Or
But-
like a low point where you could have possibly looked at a reversal to the upside or something like that.
In a pattern or just in general?
In general, I think he's saying, but with your indicators like your HSI, AMP, all that stuff.
So intraday, yeah, so in a pattern, like if it's at a high point, intraday and I'm scalping, I'm probably more inclined to take it, to the downside. I'm just looking at indicators, RSI. RSI is a big thing, dude. If you guys are not using RSI, I don't know what to tell you. But let's see. Intraday, I'm trying to see where a high point here was. Let's look at the 1 minute. Actually, let's look at Apple. Why I took that Apple trade. I think I went over this with you with article.
A good one would be Apple on the hourly after T1. Like if you use your Wyckoff trend oscillator when it was bright green, you also have MACD flipping. You have HSI overbought on both indicators. This would be September 12th through the 13 range on the hourly.
Oh yeah, you're using regular trading hours, huh?
Oh, why did it flip? Sorry, my bad. I guess you can still use.
You could still use
extended.
it.
Yeah.
The reason why I didn't cover this. I should actually have covered it earlier. The settings of how you should have the harmonics, either regular trading hours or extended. From just watching Scott Carney, the creator of Harmonics, when he does his videos, I'm looking at what his settings were, and he tends to have it on extended trading hours. Why is that? Is because you're able to see a longer time frame of where the patterns are forming, right? That's not to say you can't take this, like you can't take the regular trading hours trade, because it's playing out the same way. But I just like to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah. He does crypto, right?
Yeah, he does crypto. There's like no it's 24/7, so there's like no regular trading, no extended. So
Yeah.
Hey,
My
Lord,
only
quick
thing with
question.
extended- Oh, go ahead. No, you go.
My question was, I just want to make sure I have extended trading hours on. Where do I double check that?
at the bottom here,
You gotta be out of the daily,
yeah,
lower time frame.
Oh, that would be why.
Yeah.
yeah. There's a setting
my
here
only
at the
reason-
bottom.
Yep,
My
I see
only
that.
reasoning
Thank you so
for
much.
Using regular trading hours, it just allows me to see the volume more clearly instead of getting those gaps in between.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the only reason I like it a little bit more. But I mean, I'll use both, obviously.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, before Harmonics, I used to trade only in regular trading hours. I didn't even bother looking at extended. But because I got into this, I like to look at the bigger time frame on the patterns.
Yeah.
So I did want to forget where it was, where I entered that trade. I think it was right here. Yeah. So let's go actually replay this.
On that September 12th, too, if you're looking at the hourly, guys, there is an indicator you can put on that's called hammer, star, and something else, I forget. And you do have a gravestone doji up there where it labels the star. So you could have seen that being a reversal. It should be right on September 12th at 10:30 a.m. Again, this is regular trading hours, so it's a little bit different, but.
Did you say that was the indicator, Rico?
Yeah, so you just search indicators, just type hammer, and it'll be the first community scripts one. It's called hammer, hanging man, shooting star, inverted hammer. That one like labels them for you. And if you see on September 12th on the hourly for regular trading hours, you're gonna get your indicators for AMP, HSI, both overbought. You also have your Wyckoff trend oscillator turning bright green, and MACD slowly starting to flip. So you could have taken the trade at target one with that star candle, and you have your arrow pointing to the downside the day before it gaps down. So you have a lot of indicators, and I mean regular RSI also has it overbought, CCI is overbought, MFI is overbought, and your volatility index is pointing to the downside. It's below the signal line, so that's bearish. There's so many indicators.
So how do you guys keep this all straight relative to, like, we do have so many indicators, but there's also information overload that can have an effect on when you're trying to take a trade and exit a trade?
Just wait until as many indicators you have as possible lined up relative to volume. So that's why we kind of tell people you don't have to be trading all the time. Patience does pay off. With Harmonics, I like it more because I can see really when I should be getting into that trade based off my target levels and ABCD patterns and all that stuff. So I just try to line up as many as possible, and then I'll look at the overall schematic and I'll try to line up my trades like that. But my biggest thing is volume above anything.
I also see different indicators, and like if I do a split screen left to right, I'll have one set of indicators on my left and one set of the indicators on the right, and I'll use the same doc. Like I'll have both on SPY, and since I have them grouped in certain ways, I kind of I know what I'm looking for on each screen, so it doesn't overload my brain.
Yeah,
that's smart. Thank you.
I feel real stupid. Where do you turn on the extended hours? I thought I had it on until I looked at his screen.
Yeah, it's in the bottom right. It says RTH right next to the time zone, like the little clock that's clicking. You can just click RTH and switch there.
Yeah, so on this, why I took that Apple trade, we were finding when it was bearish on Friday, you could see the price decline right here, right? It could have continued going down, but I waited, right? I was looking at, I'm looking at a double top forming, even though the indicator didn't bring this up, because like I said, the indicator tries to find the most precise fib ratios you can get, right? Otherwise it won't generate it, because the more perfect it is, the better, right? I went a little off here on what the fib ratios usually tend to go for this. I guess this is a bat pattern, yeah, but it's not really like a true bat pattern, right? But it's essentially a double top. And that's when I lined up my favorite ratios, my favorite tracement tool, target 1 and target 2. I was able to call it here. Obviously we came up here, we came down, and then we finally pushed to that 149. I don't think we got to 150 till the end of the day. That's when I was like, tell Rico we should have held longer. But you had this chop here, I got what I wanted, and I scalped. And this is on the 1 minute, just because I did this, right? I knew my favorites. I know this is a little bit off. This is a little bit risky, but I'm watching, you know, everything here. RSI here, almost oversold on the RSI. HSI on the harmonic sense, there's no pattern, but I'm looking at RSI here, approaching oversold. Amp RSI way oversold, and I'm like, well, let's see what this does, right? I didn't get in the trade here because I was waiting for that pattern to form. I was waiting for something to form, and I got, okay, well, this looks like it's forming a pattern, so let's see if it plays out. And then once this D was generated here, this candle here, it started to move up the way I thought it was, and it played out. I think I got out just a little bit under 150, but that was my price target for that 150 call, and those 0 DTEs. You're just looking at volume, guys. On the 1 minute, you see some volume decreasing here and increase here. After this chop here, I think I also got out the top. I think we did get out of the top. I don't remember if it was around here that I still waited a little bit, and then I'm okay. Well, I'm out somewhere around here as well, because it did approach that 150. I think we got out here, not here. We got out here, and then after that, I think I told you, hey Rico, we found the top, and then it just went down. Obviously, end of the day was a different story, but I was not in that trade anymore. See, even right here on the 1 minute, it generated this this bearish bat pattern, where it didn't do a type 1 reaction. It did a type 2 reaction, and now well, this pattern is already invalidated because it's already past the 30 bars. So another thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to mention, when a pattern is formed at point D, you want to look at where as far as 30 bars. After that, it starts getting a little tricky, because it could start forming other patterns. On the micro, it's less important, but I think on the macro is more important to look at, right? So let's look at the 1 day here. That's not to say just because it passed 30 bars that the pattern is invalid. It's over. This is at 21 bars. 30 bars would be around here. That's what we essentially want to look when we look at a pattern 30 bars out. That's where we start thinking, hey, maybe after 30 bars we are possibly going to look at another pattern forming. I think SPY goes over 30 bars on this pattern, I think. Let me see. Yeah, SPY is at 33 bars right now. But just because it passed 33 bars doesn't mean that this pattern should not be valid anymore. It's still valid. You just gotta, in the micro, it's probably less important. If it passed 30 bars on a micro, it's like, okay, just don't consider that pattern anymore. Like on the 1 minute especially, you could get 30 minutes, that pattern is probably already invalid. This is what I had for AMC on the 1 day. I don't like bars pattern, but this looks like it's kind of playing out. I would like it to touch 793. I know you guys don't want to. But
No, talking to Trey, not Trey Trace, the other guy, he said it's looking like it's going to go to that $8 range and have a decent reaction. Yeah, but that one's a little bit more extended. I know the Sam Trading with Emotions has it actually squeezing around the same time that I have it. He still has it late September. Well, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, his new video is really interesting if you have time to watch it. He's got the whole cycle theory going on. But we'll see. Even Trey has it squeezing in early October as well. Just letting everybody know.
How would the Harmonics look in relation to its squeeze in the rest of the month?
You know, the harmonics, I don't. The squeeze play in harmonics is, I don't know. I
I don't think it's valid.
yeah.
Okay, I was just curious if you could like see what it would look like. That's all.
I
Um,
think target one is very accurate. I think this harmonic is very accurate. I think target one during a squeeze, like you would hit that 2072 and you'd have a pretty big reaction to trying to break over that. You'd go back to like 15 rather quickly. But again, remember that squeeze plays are very, very accelerated algos where, you know, price action that could span several months gets super compressed and it just fucking does it really quickly.
yeah.
You remember on our last little pump there, me saying that like the 2-day trend lines with breaks also kind of comes to a conclusion end of September into October.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still think we're squeezing. The only reason I got out of my stuff is so I don't have to have that mentality of like if these contracts go to like point 12 or point 14, I'm just gonna enter heavier there if I see that reversal that I want. It's just risk management. I kept 25% of my position, but I'd rather just take like the 15, 18% loss right now and just reposition lower and just feeling a little bit more confident than kind of just hold on to this, you know, hope or hopium. But it
Right.
still looks really good. I want everyone to know that I'm still like I still got my confirmation bias, I guess, from all the stuff that I alerted. Um, and even Sam has the same feeling. Trey, square root of 9 Trey, who's very hard to flip on the long side. He thinks we're squeezing as well. Like everyone thinks so. Um,
So, Rico, quick question, if I can.
yeah.
What do you think we need to see out of this week, and or possibly going into the week after, for the squeeze to be still on the table for end of September, early October? Like, do we need to see like a weekly bullish engulfing candle, or what's your price that you think that we need to be at?
Well,
To,
let's see what the next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think those 3 days. Let's see what happens. I wouldn't be shocked to see some continuation to the downside because the indicators are showing that. If I put up AMC right now, but I mean you do have AMP and HSI right now. They're looking oversold. ADX looks like just consolidation right now. Directional trend line. It doesn't look super bearish. I can see some price chop down here a little bit, maybe fill that gap at that 860 whatever, and then start trending to the upside. That's what I see. Um,
And I know
Okay.
this is a little bit more expensive, but like I've been buying commons down here, so that way I don't have to worry about completely timing the bottom.
yeah,
And then next big old pump up with the extra commons I bought. And traditionally, maybe not on AMC, but traditionally, what I would do is buy a little bit more aggressive covered calls. Like I would sell the covered calls at the strike it currently is at on a pump, and turn that for a profit. Granted, it wouldn't be anywhere near like if you bought leaps and that hit, but um, it's some good profit.
yeah. Ivy's really low right now as well. Like they're setting this up for a big run. Like Sam Trading with Emotions has it at the very end of his cycle fractal. I have 3 different things with the Gone fans that those line up. Wyckoff theories on backup LPS. Like just because they didn't happen the day after I put that alert doesn't mean it's gonna not happen 3 days after. Right? We're gonna just have to wait and see with the price action. But when this thing starts going, it speeds up quick. Right? We saw it in March. We saw it here in late August. Like the price action to the upside is very, very fast. They don't want people going in because most people know how to play the bull side. They don't know how to play the bear side, right? So the bear side, they'll slow it down, they'll bleed it, and then when it's time to go, it's just fast. It's fast, fast, fast.
AMC's kind of
Yeah.
unique in that fashion.
Yeah.
Normally, it's flipped.
Yeah.
No, I completely understand. I get what you guys are saying.
We're getting something that, like, I don't know, in the harmonic pattern sense, when I, back in this run here where we went up to 16, um, I was very bullish when it got above this ABCD pattern. I was like, hey, I'm not going to enter calls until I see we get above this ABCD pattern on the close, right? We got over here, got in, false breakout, came below, and then we just pushed, right? we're almost repeating. This is on a 3-day, by the way. So we got this movement retracement down below 919, and then we pushed to BC. We are getting this type movement again. False breakout, come down to retest, and then we could possibly start like that. And then this time, we definitely go past target or BC. We go to target 1, right? $20 short term, maybe come back down and then squeeze. The squeeze in my sense for the harmonic would be at the 1.618 at 68, like all time.
I like that level. Yeah, I have it at 65.
Yeah, like
65,
all time highs,
68.
new all time highs.
So would we not? So we're not looking at it to go to that 12 to 14 range. It's just you guys think it's going to go straight to 20 and then retrace.
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. If we could, man, dude, if we could get
It
above
could be
BC,
quick.
yeah, we're gonna get something like this. This is on the. Let's switch to the 1 day.
Yeah, just know when it squeezes, like there will be massive shakeout. So it can still play out what I think is happening, where you go up to that target 1, target 2 on the short term, like 1 hour, retrace really quickly, bounce, and just keep running.
Yeah.
It can happen like intraday, right? So
But we need it to happen because this isn't Head and Shoulders on the AMC 1 day.
yeah,
Yeah, it needs to hold $8. I'm just all I'm saying right now.
yeah.
If it doesn't, we're gonna go to 6 and change.
Yeah, the only reason I don't think that's happening is based off the descending broadening wedge. I think we've had already the ABCD touches. We had that false breakout above the descending broadening, and we're finding support. And then
Yeah.
also Sam's fractals. Sam's fractals, if you watch the video, you're gonna be like, holy shit! Like it can happen next week where we start running up, like midweek.
Well, not
Like,
to mention volume. When we
What's
got
that?
down, not to mention volume. Every time
Yeah.
we got lower levels, like it was like no one came to the party.
Right. Like that 16 million volume day indicator, it's very important. Like, that's the lowest volume all of June. Like that's not by chance. Right? That day could be signifying like the big reversal where you should be getting in. I think one more push down here. And whoop.
Yeah, we could get something on the 4-hour tomorrow, where a bullish harmonic could be generating here at 886. But we would have to, we would have to go to like 830 and then reverse. I don't want to have that either. Or we can do the Gartley at 786 would be like around 870 and then reverse.
Yeah, that looks good. Look on the daily and then look at your ADX indicator. You still have that buy above with the signal line slowly starting to flip. I do think we get some slow chop back down to that 870 at this point, somewhere around the 8s, and then just you start flipping.
So the buy is a green one, right?
Yeah, it's above.
It's above. Okay. So what happens if the red is a sell signal or sell?
Yeah, if you have that crossing over the green and you see the signal line, the purple trending up, that's bearish.
Okay.
Yeah. What I think is you're gonna probably go fill that gap, trade sideways, like for very little.
Oh shit! I see. So if this green crosses over this red, is going up, right?
Yep.
Oh
Bullish.
shit! And it is trending downwards.
For now, yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Oh shit. Yeah, dude, we could get something like this again. Well, hard, like, past that.
Right there on that day where you see it slowly trending down. I think it's start of July, very early July.
Yeah.
Where it looks like, oh no, the ADX, the green is about to cross over the red, and it bounces right over the red, and then your signal line just rockets up, and then you're just on an uptrend. That's what we think is gonna happen with Sam. That's what we're thinking. So. Yeah. It's almost ready, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely ready. GME is ready too. I'm
GME
paying
is very
attention.
ready.
GME looks so damn
GME is
strong.
very ready. Yeah.
Yeah. The 3-day. I think I like the 3-day on these meme stocks here. The 3-day is the best one, in my opinion. Yeah, dude. That's why I got those $36 calls, and those printed 50%, 60% all the time every time I DCA'd. So
They move quick.
yeah, dude.
I got 1,000%er and the price moved $1.
Yeah.
Imagine if it squoze when we grabbed those, the GMEs when they went to 1,000, literally no price movement, just volatility.
Yeah.
If they would started running, I'm just waiting. I mean,
Target one. Look at this situation, guys, right here, with this whole HSI and everything. We don't have a pattern here, right? We do have a pattern previous here. This is past the 30 bars, but you can still trade it. RSI oversold, HSI oversold, AMP RSI oversold, right? MACD turned green, HSI arrow to the upside, indicating buy. If when these three match, well, I guess MACD 2, 4, the more indicators, right, the better. That was almost a 20%, 26% move.
yeah, especially on falling wedges. You get a falling wedge,
Yeah.
those indicators oversold, just buy.
Yeah, dude. Every time when you get those, I'm more inclined to take the trade hard, like with a lot of like confirmation. So pay attention to those when you get these three, the same. It's Print City, for the most part.
Yeah, I think GME is gonna fucking go, man.
Example right here, HSI arrow triggered red, sell signal. HSI or RSI overbought. HSI overbought. AMP RSI way overbought, and we got all that movement. That was, if you were to play it right on a swing to the low, that would have been a 60% move, almost. Yeah,
Look
61%.
at your ADX. ADX just continuously trending down.
Yeah. So just look at history, guys, if you want to look at when these indicators like match up like that, and see if it plays out. For the most part, they do. So if you
low volume.
yeah, and if you get those things match, man, I would be more inclined to take the trade. So it's one of the things that people ask me, hey, how do you find your tickers? How do you find your tickers? When I trade scalping, when I'm scalping, I'm looking at volume. So just see on Webull. Webull tells you, hey, what's moving with the most volume, right? I'm a momentum trader. I trade off momentum. So if I see something, I'm gonna take the trade. That's why I call it that. I'll call out Roku because it was volume, a lot of volume. But yeah, just look off momentum. Look at volume screeners. But yeah, over here, let's see. Right here, exactly this one too. All indicators are saying, hey, overbought. So start paying attention to those when those things add up, and you'll see what happens. You're more than like, you'll be profitable for the most part. On the micro, it's a little bit trickier though, right? But you could also use it to scalp. Overbought right here on the 5-minute, and look what happened. Straight down. This is on the micro, 5-minute.
Yep.
That would have been, if you're intraday trading, almost a 2% move. That's a lot. 2% move, sharp move like that on a 0 DTE. Shit.
If you look at Neo, Bullseye Bot gave you that $20 strike, right, for October, October something, 13th or whatever. Look at all the indicators there. Recently, you got that arrow giving you went to target 2 off that bullish harmonic. You got the arrow down from now, and you look at all the other things. You're overbought, right? And your ADX is starting to trend down. MACD is about to flip bearish, so I can see Neo going fucking double bottoming maybe 1682.
Yeah, XA.
Yeah, but long term, Neo's bullish. Right? You go on the 3-day, you're like, oh goddamn, like this looks pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to find here real quick. I think Meta.
I
Nah.
think Meta looks bad. I
I
haven't
think,
looked at it.
dude, Meta looks so bad.
Yeah.
It has a crab on the 1-day, right? Where, well, it didn't get the type 1 reaction. It's getting the type 2 reaction. It was trading here between BC and XA. Now it lost XA and it's probably gonna go to hop that 116. It's already, the June low was at 137. It's already approaching that. Like
Yeah.
if it loses 138, this shit is gonna go to 116.
Yeah, that's about the price we had it at.
Yeah, so it doesn't look good right
So-
now. So I'd be careful if anybody's bullish on Meta.
Oh, but I think their client base of people 40 plus are going to jump onto those virtual reality glasses.
Yeah.
Take a look at 3M. That one looks like it's ready to turn around, or if it's screwed. MMM.
You're still in that?
No, I got out, but
Oh.
well, it was bullish for a minute, and then it fucking broke all the indicators.
I can the one that I do want people to focus on after you look at that, look at Microvision. That stock is on the 3-day is looking nice. That's one of my favorites. Same with Riot. I think those two are going to pop pretty crazy. Let the short-term downtrend happen, but after that, man, I am bullish on this. Mostly Wyckoff schematics.
So yeah, it's trading already on the type 2 reaction.
Yeah.
Once we start, I think if we could push up to ABCD here at $5,
I have long-term calls on this, and I have a lot.
we can get that type 1 reaction afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I would line this up with some sort of news where this is what happens, guys. News comes out or whatever, and the price action is just straight up. Right? It's just quick. It's either a gap up or whatever. They don't let people in, and then it gets to your type or target 1, target 2. People are FOMOing into it, then they drop it. So as soon as I get that, I mean, I'm going to be out. I do think we have a little bit more short-term downside, but I'm positioned into some far out. I have February 2023, so I'm out there.
Yeah. For those of you guys are in Exxon, I'm in long-term Exxon calls here. Perfect example again, RSI here touched bottom. AMP RSI didn't, or HSI didn't, but AMP did, and this looks like it wants to trade above here. If you guys could find right now a ticker that has all those, the RSI, AMP RSI, and HSI that have all like overbought or oversold, call it out and let's see if we could play it out tomorrow. Just to prove our thesis that once you get all these things lined up, that it will most of the time play correctly.
The indicators, but I'm thinking, I was thinking Nvidia looked pretty damn oversold.
On what time frame? On the 1-day, let's see. Oof, okay.
We really should get everyone to be very strict in their trading and like get into plays where both of those indicators that you have, Lord, are both oversold, and you have like MACD flipping or trending to the upside or something. Just try to eliminate as much possibility to get the wrong trade as possible.
Right.
It's being super strict. Like Nvidia right now, you have your HSI, right, kind of on the midline, but you have your AMP oversold or coming up from oversold. Wyckoff trend oscillator is trending up, but your MACD right now is kind of in no man's land.
Right. It is. It could be switching the MACD too, but I'm
looking at the 1-day right now. I can go into like the 4-hour.
The thing that is a little bit that's off here that I don't like is that HSI crossing over to the midline, which could signal that it going up, right? It is oversold on the RSI. It's looking like. Let's see.
I jumped in on commons. It wasn't like weekly options or anything.
It's on a big volume shelf. Big time. Like historically, this price level is traded on for how long? A full year? Almost 2? Year and a half?
Yeah.
I like that gap. I would fill that
Okay.
gap at least.
So, the 1 hour. AMP RSI overbought. HSI overbought. RSI is still not overbought though. So you could potentially see short term on the hour. Downside. Yeah.
General market, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wyckoff trend oscillators showing some bright green.
Let's see. Amazon. I want to find something. That way we could get in tomorrow. You guys don't have to get in, obviously. I will get in.
I'm getting
to prove my to prove my thesis over here.
Netflix was looking good, right?
Yeah,
We were kind of, let's look at Netflix. Time frame, let's see. Let's look at the daily.
Oof. It's a little hard to gauge.
Yeah,
But you could look at Wyckoff. What is Wyckoff telling you?
I'm looking at it right now. What time frame? Daily?
Daily, yeah.
Let's see. Volume is nice the last 2 days. Let me see. I mean, you could see a little bit more continuation to the upside. I'm looking at 252. Double top, maybe. We gotta be careful of that.
Oh, we
MACD
did get MACD turn green.
It did. On the daily, it flipped just now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in no man's land. I'm trying to draw a pattern. That's the big one. If you can draw that pattern, you kind of... It looks like it's just in a broadening wedge, right? Perfect broadening wedge.
Yeah.
Towards the upper side of it. Everything is trending up on the daily. Daily looks all right. Let me go 4 hour. Yeah, what this could do is have that temporary pop to the upside and create a bull trap or something short term.
Yeah. Test hop and then.
Yeah.
It looks like it wants to test hop, so it's not in a type 1 reaction here. Goes to hop and then starts going down if, bearish. If the market is bearish.
Yeah, and then your ADX, your signal lines about to cross the midline with the buy still above. Yeah, I feel like you're going to get a short-term pop, and it's going to come back down.
Fuck. Microsoft was actually a good play here on the 4 hour, except RSI is overbought or oversold. AMP RSI is oversold. HSI was oversold, but it's already across the midline. I really want all of these indicators to be at the bottom so we can take a trade tomorrow.
Ooh, Microsoft looks really good for the upside on the 4 hour. Everything's oversold. RSI was oversold, CCI oversold, money flow index trending up. You have your Wyckoff trend oscillator coming from overbought. You have your MACD about to flip green. You were oversold on your indicators for Harmonics. Yeah, Microsoft looks pretty good.
Yeah, I would be looking at maybe the 250s. Yeah, the volume is good.
Yeah.
Oh, and if that MACD switches to green too.
It's almost there. The 4 hour is like flat. Like it's about to flip.
Yeah.
2 hour already flipped.
Hey, Crypto's dumping right now.
What's that?
Crypto's dumping right now.
Oh, no.
Well, 2 hours before future opens. Not too surprising. See what happens.
Oh, shit. 3%.
Oh, Luna. Going back down big time. Yeah.
Chat, another one that I thought was pretty oversold on my indicators.
Let's check it out, man.
Somebody gonna ask a question?
I had a question. If you wouldn't mind looking at another example to help me understand the harmonic.
Yeah.
Looking at Neo on the daily, and I have commons on this. There was a bat pattern that formed on March 14th-ish. My first question is that pattern and reactions invalidated because a new pattern formed September 2nd? And then my second question is that one's already reached target 2, so is that play completed?
So remember how I was talking about the type? I'll answer the last question, and then I'll go back to the first one. Remember how I told you that you get 2 types of reaction, type 1, type 2. Type 1 is a straight shooter, just this is a perfect example.
Yeah.
And then now it's getting its type 2 reaction. So it's probably going to start consolidating either between target 1, target 2, and maybe going to XA with that $16 that Rico was also mentioning that it might go to. But then pushing back up, right? So look at what is RSI telling you. AMP HSI, overbought. AMP RSI, overbought. RSI didn't reach overbought zone, but it's now curling down, right? So 1955 would be a support. You're looking at this previous one right here. Target 1 was, is that right? Did I take that right? Let me see. A to D. Yeah, target 1 was $29 from the previous pattern, and then $39 and change on the target 2, right? This had its type 2, right? This pattern is already invalid because first of all, it passes the 30 bars, right, that I mentioned. It goes
way past that.
So yeah, it's already to current day, it's already 130 bars. So that's why you don't, you could use this as a reference point for supports and resistances though. Like you could take these and like, okay, well, target 1 was probably going to be, if it goes past like target 2, there's going to be some chop here. Target 2, there's, or at least there's going to be some type of consolidation. Like you could tell here, you could just by even look at it, there's consolidation here, right? There's consolidation over here, maybe somewhere around this range as well, where we're currently at. So you might actually have some resistances here on the way up, but as far as this pattern being invalid, I think it's already past that point, right? Because a new one formed and it's past the 30 bars, but you could use this as reference points for supports and resistances as well.
So then on the second one, do we expect that it could go beyond target 2 on the upside, or is that historically and by the data that's as far as it's going to go?
So in a harmonics, like I said, the 886, so let me take this A to D here. So this is how you find your targets. You take your favorite retracement tool from A to D, and you get your target 1, your target 2, right? So target 1 would be 1955, target 2 would be the 618, and harmonics, the 886, would be your target 3 at 2352. But in this sense, because the bat pattern follows a strict 886, at this point, even target 2 is already in the harmonic pattern. It's already overbought, right? At this point, that's why the author recommends target 2, because if you're using harmonics to take the trade at that point in the harmonic pattern, it's going to be overbought. So look what happened here. It did test the 786, right? But we went straight down. This is already overbought here. The overbought in the HSI in the harmonic pattern. It clearly told you here, hey, this is overbought. AMP RSI told you the same thing. Not so much RSI, but in the pattern, if we're following harmonics, you should have been looking at that and it's like, okay, this is probably going to go down short term, right? So
they're all in alignment.
Yeah. So if you're following harmonics, right? But the 886 could push up, but in this pattern, it would be extremely overbought. It would be already like, hey, be careful here. That's not to say it can't go up. It can go up. It starts squeezing. None of that matters anymore.
So we need to wait for a new pattern to form to see what the future holds?
Yeah, you could wait, or you could just wait until what it does right now in its current. It's still not past 30 bars, right? It's still only like 6 bars, whatever. So now you're gonna probably find a trading range here, somewhere between. There's gonna get a type 2 reaction where you might just trade between 19.55, $21, maybe even $16, and then it'll
But it's super
potentially
bullish,
start.
right?
Um,
In the long term, I mean, that's the pattern that formed as a bullish pattern.
y- yeah, it's still bullish. And the 3 day, it's much better than the 1 day. It tells you much clearer story of where long term, this is very bullish here. You're getting your type 2 reaction. Usually you get either or, right? If you get your type 2 reaction, that means it's probably going to start doing your type 1, where it's going to go to test at least target 1. It wants to. It already did its consolidation here. It already traded, right? You didn't get that. You're kind of getting the type 2 reaction. It still has some time. Maybe it'll go to over here, but I don't know that it will drop fucking 50%. So I am thinking that it wants to do its type 1 reaction. How long that's going to take, I don't know. Yeah, you see the target. Oh man, even on the 2 day, I didn't even know there was a Garley.
Yeah.
So the Garley is my favorite pattern to trade. You already passed the type 2. It clearly wants to go target 1 to do the type 1 reaction, but you had a little chop here. You got $22.25. In this sense here, if I'm looking at it, I'd probably be targeting the 200 EMA, $26. Where you're gonna get resistance.
Before, right?
Yeah, it
Around
is.
25, 27.
Yeah. But on the 2 day or 3 day, I mean, how are those target 1, target 2s helpful to us? Way up there, fucking 40, $60.
Well, the long term, right? You have to wait. It's not. I don't know. That's something that we have to consider either happening or not happening. But just from the pattern, it's just telling you this is the pattern. These are the targets. Obviously, we probably have like a catalyst. Oh, no more tariffs for China. Blah blah blah. When this thing goes up, right?
Tariffs, earnings.
War over.
Yeah.
No more COVID lockdowns in China. If once, yeah, I think all Chinese stocks already hit their bottom. So
Right, because I feel like the question he's really asking is, are you doing like intraday scalping, or are you doing a long-term investment? Because nothing's going to pop like that outside of a short
Right.
squeeze in that much time. So you need to know your time frame when you're looking at these T1, T2s, I'm assuming.
of course you need to look at also the micro, what it's doing, right? You're looking at your price action, what it's telling you, the volume and all that stuff. You're not gonna don't expect because you get a pattern like this on the 2 day or the 3 day that it's targeting 37 and 40 and it's gonna do it. No, that's a big movement that has to happen, right?
But now, because the graph is going to the left, it still could dip down and go right. Could create a different pattern, right? Because normally in consolidation, it takes an up or down direction. So it's been consolidated, and it could still dip down, right?
It could, yeah, it could.
Because that pattern is starting to invalidate because it's moving to the left, correct?
What do you mean moving to the left? Well, like to the left of the
Yeah,
the range, right? That you're talking about?
yeah, the bars.
Well, note that this is a 2 day, right? And it is past 30 bars. It's past like 2 times that, right? But this pattern is still valid. This pattern is still valid because it's providing, first of all, the consolidation is doing a type 2 reaction. You could take even the 3 day, right? That's even much shorter, right? But except 3 days telling you target 1 is 39. But if you were to looking at it like investment, you're trying to play options or whatever the case be, you're not gonna go and ignore the 2 day, or 2 days telling you otherwise. It's telling you there's some resistance at 22 BC 25. The 1 day is also telling you something else. The 1 day is telling you that it already hits its target 2, and it probably wants to consolidate somewhere around here. But who knows? Yeah, that's something you have to just look at what it's telling you day by day. Like if you're in neo long term, I mean, if you're bullish on it, then for that to hit like those targets, target 1, target 2, like 30, 40, whatever it is, that looks like a longer term investment, right?
Yeah, I'm holding commons, so
Yeah,
I
so
have time.
yeah, you have plenty of time. And you know that there's like right here I can see on the 2-day this is forming some type of uh, another bullish, maybe another pattern here, maybe around here like this. 786 would be another Gartley, and then target 1 would be 0.382 at 18. Target 2 would be at $20 if it continues like trading between this range, right? So it can form another pattern, and this is still bullish. Even this pattern is bullish, so that's telling you, hey, this probably is more than likely going to continue going to the upside. What you don't want is a bearish pattern forming, and you could find a bearish pattern maybe here. No, that's not. No bearish pattern. Never mind. B is above X. That doesn't work. You could take right here.
Yeah, Neo is very, very close, tight range of getting a golden cross. If you get that, the 50 SMA to cross over the 200, it's right there. If you're looking at the 3-day, like you can get a really strong impulse wave up.
So this looks like a bat, almost a bat,
There
a
you go.
Gartley, and this is a bearish harmonic, right? Where it could this could be the last point here, the point C, and it continues to point D, and then that's when you get the reversal, right? You get the reversal confirmation here at the completion of point D, and then you start going down. But even in this case, if it starts forming a bearish harmonic, bearish
Bullish.
like bullish, right? Because yeah, so you can get that type of double bottom here. So it's even if it wants to form this harmonic, this bearish harmonic, it's bullish as well for the time being until it reaches point D.
Until it reaches D.
Yeah.
I see.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
But don't assume that that's gonna play out, right? Just know that that if you are bullish and it's looking like it's gonna probably complete it, then you have that's the judgment call. But in the sense, it's both. It does look bullish. Yeah, it does look bullish.
Might be worth nibbling on some Neo.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Appreciate your generosity, man.
No worries, man. Still trying to find that. I want to take something before open tomorrow, so
Microsoft.
that's a good one. But I want to have everything like overbought or oversold. I think there's a little bit like one of it is off,
Let me try to find something for you. What time frame? Daily?
I would like the daily, preferably daily or the 4-hour.
4-hour or daily? Okay. Let's see. That's 4 days. Oops. Okay. Let's see. I want to line everything up. This one's super curled down.
You guys could also find a ticker. Let me. If you guys find something like that, let us know.
Yeah, I'm looking for.
I'm still looking at Chad.
Chad.
That ticker name is
So good.
Condoms, it's perfect.
I love it.
Oh fuck. Okay, so we could have played it to the downside, Chad, if only AMP RSI. Everything was already like almost overbought, but not HSI. Damn it.
Playing stuff to the upside short term's a little bit tricky right now because I do think overall it's gonna still be a little bit of red of a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, looking at like the daily 3-day, and for DCAing right now, I really like Riot.
I'm sorry, it's just CHD. We just nicknamed it Chad.
Yeah,
Oh.
CHD.
I'm over here. It's,
Chad
what the
actually-
hell is? There is a Chad.
There is a Chad.
Procter and Gamble. Yeah, that's a good company.
Direction Daily CSI 300 China shares Barrett. That's what Chad is.
Oh, I gotcha. Well,
That's
the
not-
Bears. Yeah, that makes sense. So, okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Ah, come on. 2 out of 3.
That came up on a high volume. I was just messing around. Procter and Gamble.
Roku.
That's it. The Church of Dwight.
Damn, MA2. Master.
So this might be out of the scope of this class, Lord or Rico, but I'm just kind of wondering, as we're talking about using all these indicators, looking at our patterns, etc., how are you guys going about and basically having your stock screener for what you want to evaluate each day or on the day? Because I mean, what, we got like 5,000 plus stocks in the market. Like, how do you isolate what you want to look at, or do you have something that's like pinging to say, hey, look at this stock, and then add in all these indicators and look at the pattern and make your thesis for a trade? Like, I guess for me, that's also a tricky thing to do.
You should. I'll go first, Lord.
Yeah.
For your stock screener, if you want to get into plays that are, they move nicely, volume's gonna be your first thing. Just filter out volume, highest volume. You can look. Let me see with mine, because with my stock screener, I like playing swings that are like easy looking swings for like maybe a week or two, kind of like A tip or open or whatever. I use my RSI, CCI, MFI all oversold, and then I can use other little indicators to see where I can enter into bottom. But if you're looking like just scalping, like I don't know, Apple or whatever, stocks like that, I would look at just straight up volume, and then try to line up again with the indicators that we're looking at. Like we kind of saw Microsoft right now looks bullish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look up Microsoft. Hold on. Yeah, on the 3-day, it's looking like it wants that reversal. Right now, it's headed towards hop. Let me look at the daily. I think we were looking at. The daily. What hour were we looking at? The hourly or the daily for Microsoft?
The daily and the 4 hours, I think. 4 hour or the daily.
4 hour. Okay. Yeah, you're getting that HSI arrow up. I wish I could. I can put it in here. Hold on. I'll put it on live trading. Let me just put this vertical line to show you where entry would have been at. Dude. Put this here. Take a screenshot. Alright, that's a 4 hour from Microsoft right there. I know it looks like I have a bunch of indicators, which I do.
Where are you? Are you streaming on what? What are you streaming on, Rico?
No, I put it in live trading. I'm only watching
okay.
Lord's stream.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can see, you can line it up from beforehand. You can see that Wyckoff trend oscillator is bright red, right? I like playing the reversals of that. Just as long as everything else is lined up for me. So yeah, I'm probably looking at Microsoft bounce right now. But make sure you have your other indicators taken into account. Like I wouldn't take the trade if I see that the ADX, the signal line is trending to the upside right now. Right, I'd be careful of that. But the number one thing is going to be volume. Right now, I see that demand is increasing on Microsoft compared to say August 16th or 17th range. You're on a downtrend there, but there's no volume coming in, so you can expect continuation to the downside.
Okay.
Even if you get that Wyckoff trend oscillator showing bright red, you can have like a short, tiny little pop up to the upside, but the trend is still headed down. Like the signal line is absolutely booming on ADX. So I would be careful taking that trade, obviously. But down here, it's looking more like a buy for me.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Have you guys went over any AMC yet tonight?
A tiny bit. We are expecting just a little bit of trading, possibly filling that gap at like 872, I believe it is. But overall, everybody that we've talked to is still very bullish on the fact that we will likely squeeze towards the end of September.
All right, cool.
Yeah, the 4 hour you have, you're getting near oversold on HSI, AMP. What other indicators? Volatility index is trending up. I would probably say that you'll trade in that like maybe 1 to 3 days, and you'll get a pretty strong impulse to the upside. I know that Trading with Emotion said that September 22nd is the day he thinks that we're going to start trending up pretty hard. So look at that. That would be Wednesday. So Wednesday's the FOMC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder.
Wednesday or Tuesday?
That was Wednesday.
Well, let's see here. Professor put it in
It'd be funny if you come down, just fill that gap, slowly trend up, and then AMC gets that golden cross. The same time Neo gets the golden cross. Golden cross.
I mean, scalping wise, AMC looks pretty good on the 1 hour.
Yeah, right.
It says
right?
the meeting is on Tuesday, Wednesday, the 20th and 21st, so I don't know what day they're going to make their decision for the actual pricing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
A lot of signals that AMC is going to at least get a short-term bounce.
Yeah, I got that hammer candle indicator HSI pointing to the upside. You're oversold on everything. RSI, CCI, MFI. Volatility index is above the signal line. Wyckoff trend oscillators red. Yeah, it looks like you're trending up here.
Vadar's coming back around. Cumulative's trying to turn back green. And the options chain is saying it's way too side put heavy.
I'm kind of a degen, you know. I have some call options expiring the end of this week, and I don't know if I should sell them or not.
End of this week would be, well, what's the strike?
The 11.5.
Yeah, it's tough. Especially if you start trending down to that 872. 4 hour looks like it's gonna flip at any moment.
I drew that head and shoulders. Does everyone have like the neckline for their head and shoulders somewhere around 790? That everyone's kind of drawing.
I can put it back on.
I don't really like that head and shoulders.
That's why I just don't think it's gonna play out. Yeah, it should be around that. I have it around. Well, it depends on how fast you go down. Hold on. Here. Yeah, I have it around like 770. I'm at extended hours. Yeah, around there. I just don't think it's gonna play out. I think it's just gonna go down a little bit, and it's gonna go. Whoop.
Yeah.
Quick question, Lord. I saw you just going over the UVXY, I guess, for your next setup. Did you put that ABCD pattern in yourself?
UVXY?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the indicator.
Oh. Okay, perfect. Because I was just looking at that, watching you go through some of the charts.
Yeah. You have that setting. You have the indicator, right?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, I just hadn't pulled up. So UVXY.
Okay.
So I was just making sure.
But you have it on there, right? You see the same thing, the same pattern?
Let me load up UVXY before I say yes without actually confirming.
Yeah, because there's a setting on the HPC combo where I think it's usually turned off, and the reason why Scott Carney, the guy who created this indicator, turns it off because it's a little risky to trade the ABCD.
I do see it. Yes, I have it.
AAOI. Does AAOI have options? Oh, it does. Oh, but the spread is disgusting. It is. Oh shit. That could be a play to the downside. What I would have wanted ideally was a pattern here, right? That would be the icing on the cake. But you could take it. You could take a trade. I just don't know about options. The spread you got. I think we'll be playing here. Let me look at the 3-day. See if there's any. Nope. What about the week? The month? Nope. 2-day, 4-hour. There's a 4-hour here. Actually, we could actually take the 4-hour.
Look at Ethereum Classic right now on the hourly. For me, this would be a buy. Like right now, you have every indicator on the hourly showing that it's oversold, and Wyckoff trend oscillators bright red.
Yeah, AOI would be a good bro. We'll call that out. Ali, but option wise, not liking that. Ethereum. Oh shit.
Yeah, look at your volume candle. The spike on that last sell is for me, it's indicating bottom.
Can I paper trade here on this? Yeah, I can, right?
Yeah, you can open up a long and just test it out. I do think it's gonna have a pretty nice bounce at these levels. I'll just get a fill here on a long. I do think it's going back up. So right, you have pretty big volume spike on the sell side, and usually when I see the spikes happening, I consider it being somewhat of a confirmation, like, hey, you're getting close to a bottom here. As long as they correlate to every other indicator, right? Look at freaking your AMP RSI right now. It's the lowest I've ever seen it on the 1 hour on Ethereum Classic.
That's pretty fucking low.
It is very, very low. That is the most. Yeah, that's the lowest since I don't even know when, dude. That's really low. I might get into KuCoin right now and buy this. Off like 100 at leverage. Let's see. It's so low, bro.
I did find GE, General Electric, on the 1-day. Has all those things triggered. It gapped down. Actually, never mind. GE is a little bit missing on RSI. UPS is one. UPS is one where everything's oversold. There is a gap down. AMP RSI is way oversold. I would wait, maybe, hopefully, for it to touch green here at 11.3, so that way we can get that green HSI arrow, and then maybe take a trade. So I'll have that on my watch list for tomorrow. Billy, not yet. Riven. So Riven is a play. Riven on the 1-day HSI arrow, sell signal, RSI overbought, HSI overbought, AMP RSI overbought. We could use this deep crap as a reference, possibly targeting the $36 strike price for puts. Short term, looks like a cup and handle is also forming, so the handle would go continuing lower to maybe $36 before it pushes back up again. Yeah, I'm gonna have that for tomorrow. I'll alert Riven tomorrow. Short side, short term, playing it downside.
I entered into Ethereum Classic off 50x leverage, just $40 just to test it out.
On KuCoin?
Yeah. Yeah, everything right now. RSI completely oversold. CCI MFI, volatility index, Wyckoff trend oscillator, AMP, and HSI on the 1 hour. Right now I'm up 7%, 10%. Hell yeah. 13%. I shot again. 15%. What the fuck?
Jesus, Rico.
That's so funny.
I'll look at Baxter. I'll look at Oracle. You said that there's on the 4 hour. Oh yes, that's a good one. Let's see, is there a pattern here on the 4 hour? There isn't.
Lord, have you used the harmonic trading on crypto? Because did you say the guy that invented this, he's also using it on crypto?
Yeah, he trades crypto. Yeah, he's very smart with the crypto. He's like, well, he's in general. You should look at. You guys should look him up one day. Just don't look at other shit besides Rico. But
Look him up, dude. It's good shit.
It's-
Dude, I'm up
Nah,
25%.
His site's pretty. His Discord's got a lot of information too. He's most
Yeah.
definitely got a lot of info.
But he does trade crypto. He's even in the market. He feels like there's some bearish downside coming soon. But he does follow his targets of what the patterns are telling him.
Okay.
I don't want to
Actually,
brag, but
you're up.
I just made 30% on this trade.
God damn it,
You
Rico.
should have put more, bro.
Oh, I should have just played
Full
10
port.
bucks on it.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait, but you were leveraged, weren't you, Rico?
50x.
My
Okay.
guy, Baxter.
I was like, there's no way that did that non-leveraged.
I'm just testing it out. I'm doing all indicators oversold. Every single one.
Oh, interesting.
So
Yeah.
Baxter, you did. I'm looking at Oracle on the 6 hour. We got a bearish pattern, so we got a harmonic there. RSI oversold. AMP RSI oversold. HSI oversold. I'm probably gonna alert this. $69 possible target. Target one maybe or $70 call. How much are they going on right now for? Let's see. So the $70 calls are 73 cents right now. I think that's a good. There's going to be some resistance here. Let's see at the daily what it's telling us on the daily. 73 target one. $1. Yeah, I think I'll enter 70s for Oracle, because 73 is a little bit too far out. I think it usually moves about 2%, 1%, which is like $1 less, or $1 and change a move. So I think the 70s would be good. Yeah, I'm gonna write Oracle down. It's a good one. Good find.
Alright, just by doing what we're showing everybody, I want to show you something. So look at live trading right now.
Sheesh.
That was a 5-minute play. It's still going up.
Yeah, and you're on the hour, so this give it some time. It could probably continue pushing, right? But you take your profits, by the way.
Yeah. No, I'm not. This is just a test. It's
Yeah.
only I think $40 that it's in right now, but this trade is 53% right now, guys.
Hell yeah.
I'm just gonna slowly update on live trading.
I need to start trading more crypto.
Yeah, dude, it's fun, but you gotta be careful because you will not sleep.
Yeah. Did you guys find any more tickers? Do you guys want to look that have the same indications telling us overbought, oversold? If not,
3M should be.
let's look at it. Let's look at 3M. The fuck?
And I do have the 200 SMA as support, guys. So I'm also using the SMAs, right? So if I did bottom tick this and it starts trending the other way, this trade, again, it's 50x leverage, so risky, right? But I'm just testing out using all the indicators being oversold. If this starts pushing to the upside, this isn't going to be a 50% play. It's going to end up being 1,000 easily.
Dang. 3M. RSI is like, yeah. The thing is that the HSI is already at the midline, going down to the sold area again. So that one's not an ideal setup, but what I do
Yeah,
see,
no, that thing looks really bad now. Holy shit.
what I do see forming here is possible. Let's see. Let's test you guys. See if you guys learn something. What is if you get an X to A retracement? What pattern? What is it? What is that pattern going to be? Bearish or bullish?
Bearish.
Oh yeah, you're learning. Brownie
My brain
points
is
for
still
you.
on fire, though. I gotta admit, so much information.
So you could possibly, this is not, this would not be a pattern here because the 1.2, well, maybe it would be a shark, 0x. Nah, don't
I'm
like it.
just basing everything off of the shares that were borrowed versus earnings versus where it's at versus somebody's gonna have to pay them damn things back.
Yeah.
So that's all I was looking at. I was like, somebody's gonna have to pay this back
0x.
eventually.
Yeah. It does. I mean, it does look like it just formed a double bottom, so you could expect that movement up. But in the ideal setup, if we're trying to do what I've been, preaching earlier, this would not. You can still use a pattern though. You can still use the harmonic pattern. The crab is telling you that there is upside here, right? But in an ideal setup, if you would want to buy it when all these are showing you it's the right time to buy, when it's overbought or oversold.
Yeah, see, I was basing it off when it hit hop. That's when I said okay, and then the green, right, the green bar, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then it went, nope.
Yeah, so the 4 hour on the Meta Baxter, it's already approaching the midline on the HSI. So ideally, we want to have something like where it touches like blue, right? Not where it's already crossing above. Did you bet on Ethereum Classic or Ethereum, regular Ethereum?
Classic.
Oh, no wonder my shit's going down. I bought the wrong shit.
No.
It's paper trading though. It's just paper trading though.
Shit.
Rico, quick question: is KuCoin is it regulated in the U.S. or basically can I do a KYC or not a KYC?
You can.
Or I can. Okay,
It's
because I'm
available,
trying
yeah.
to do it, but it won't let me select the U.S. as my region.
That's weird. It did for me.
Okay. Yeah, because I type it in and it just doesn't have it as a region for me to select on KYC verification.
No, let me.
When I verified mine, I had to do other, but you could still submit your documents, and then it asks you
Okay.
for like your face, and then you have to like tilt your head up, down.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that later. That's going to be a little bit more information intensive.
It's like the #1 crypto trading platform, I believe.
Yeah, I used to use Binance, but then they booed me off of it, and then my state didn't support it, so I was like, screw it.
To switch over to from Coinbase.
Coinbase is brutal on their fees.
Yeah. Their Coinbase Pro wasn't one. That's what I was using. I can't trade leverage on it. When you can't trade leverage, it's like, and you're used to options. It's fairly boring.
Right. So this isn't a financial advice question. I'm just wondering, has anybody actually gone through and took up for IRS for their own personal stuff, the trader, like the day trader one, so they can actually take all losses if they want, or actually write off fees, or do you guys not even mess with that personally?
I don't think I've ever filled anything out like that.
Okay. Because basically with my accountant, I'm going through whether I want to do that now, because IRS like to audit people, but you save a lot of money because you're known as your own business.
Like start an LLC as a day trader, and
You don't even have to. If you take the elective as a day trader, you automatically are recognized as a business, but you have to meet requirements have never been set. Like, it's arbitrary if a judge rules on it to say, do you do enough trades in a day? Is enough of your portfolio actually day trading, or are you really just using day trading to offset long-term holds that you want to capitalize in gains and losses? Because you can write off your computer, your power bill, your fees on the whatever platform you're using for trading.
Gotcha.
I think I would pass that hurdle. That's interesting.
Yeah, I've just been thinking about it because I've been doing so much day trading that I'm like, this might be a good idea.
My trade's at 70%. Let's go. Should have put whole port.
Yeah, dude.
No, I messed up. Too. But that's a good. It's practice, right?
Yeah.
Like this thing's rocketing now. 73%.
Guys, if you want to learn the perfect way, there's a lot of brokers out there that could do paper trading, so you don't have to bet money. Try it out, you know. That's how
Trading
you.
View.
Oh yeah, Trading View.
Yep.
Practice.
Another thing I like to do is actually the replays. Go back in time, pick a random date in history,
Mm-hmm.
and spin your replay a little bit faster. Like I like to do 5 minutes every 3 seconds. That way you have that like adrenaline.
Oh yeah.
And mark where you would buy and sell.
Let's see how high this goes.
Oh, Chipotle.
Chipotle.
I remember when people were comparing it to AMC. How come Chipotle has what's over worth? It's like worth more. Blah blah blah. It's at 1,700. I'm like, do you have no shares?
It's so incredibly profitable. It's not even funny.
Ah, dude, it's forming a double top Chipotle here, and it has a bearish a shark, and it just MACD just turned red.
Up, and ADX is turning to the upside on the sell side. That might be a play.
Yeah.
Those contracts go crazy.
Yeah, dude, they're expensive too.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're not kidding. The PE on Chipotle is insane.
Mm-hmm. They're like one of the best companies in the world.
I can see why. That their profit margin's pretty nasty.
$42 billion company. Holy
Wait till
shit!
they do a split.
It just gives you the shits when you eat them.
Hell yeah, dude.
Chipotle way.
Dude, that's the same with all of them. I mean, even McDonald's ain't good for you, but that shit just, prints.
Oh, shit, well, putting that on my list now. CMG.
Chipotle? Yeah. You looking at that for tomorrow?
Yeah,
not
look.
bad.
No, it's not. It just turned red on the MACD as well. Possible. Oh, but there. Let me see how expensive the puts are here. So I'd be probably
margin almost 12% for last quarter.
I'd be probably targeting 59 or 1600. Holy shit. Okay, well 1600 is not. Oh shit, 620 a contract. I'll buy one or two.
Is that all?
Full port.
Good God.
Yeah, that's a little risky. Maybe not alert that one.
That's awesome. All right, Lord, Rico, everybody, thank you for the class today and whatnot, but I got to get back to taking care of the household now.
All right,
Yeah, man. Have a good one.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
Later.
Bye.
Baba looks good, Baxter. You got everything. Yeah, I'll put that on the list as well. Baba.
I do have to run as well. I'm gonna go get something to eat. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
For sure.
Good class, Lord. Yeah, good shit.